Welcome back to another weekly roundup of cloud gaming news brought to you by yours truly. Remember, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest in cloud gaming, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next video. And as always, if you enjoy the content, give the video a like, it helps the channel out a lot. But for now, let's get into the news. And first up, let's talk about Stadia. And being the start of the month, we have new Stadia Pro games for August. And this month, there are 5 new games. But do they suck? The first 4 games are available from today. First up, we have Strange Brigade, which, to be honest, I've always wanted to check this one out. So maybe I'll put my Pro subscription, which I keep for the sake of the channel, to good use. Next is Kona, which is a mystery slash adventure slash survival game, which was originally released back in 2017. Followed by Metro 2033 Redux, a first-person shooter, obviously from the Metro series. Again, originally released back in 2010, but was remastered in 2014. And lastly, available from today, we have Shapes and Beats, which is, you know, just shapes and beats, I guess. Don't really have a lot more to say about that. So those are the 4 games which are available today. The 5th game, Rock of Ages 3, is being added to Stadia Pro on August 14th. The game was originally released for other platforms on July 21st of this year. So again, I think what we're seeing is an example of the additional time it's taking developers to port their games over to run on Stadia. But as always, let me know what you think of this month's selection of Stadia Pro titles. Does it make you want to sign up to Stadia Pro or keep your existing subscription? Let me know in those comments down below. Next, big news in Stadia features. Not something we get to talk about too often. This week it was announced that Stadia will be unbinding itself from your Wi-Fi and offering connection via 4G and 5G cellular connections, albeit in an experimental state. Once opted into the experimental setting in the Stadia app, users are actually met with a notification that states data usage may increase up to 2.7 gigs an hour. So, unless you're on one of those unlimited data packages, maybe give this one a miss. Which actually brings us nicely to another largely anticipated feature, which some households have actually been waiting for since the original launch of Stadia, and that is family sharing. So this one hasn't actually been confirmed by Stadia themselves, but we're getting pretty good glimpses ahead before Stadia even make their announcements of new features, thanks to the APK breakdowns from the guys over at 9to5 Google. Honestly, I'm not sure why Stadia is happy for them to keep making their announcements for new features before them, but here we are. So within the most recent 2.26 APK, strings were identified referencing family sharing, and it gives us a good idea at how it might function. It sounds like users will be able to select the games they want to make shareable via a share icon, which is great if you want the kids to maybe play some titles, but maybe don't want them having access to Zombie Army 4. Those selected shared titles will then be made available to a family group, which can be set up and can consist of up to 5 users. But the big question I have with all of these new features being released or in the works, and even new games being announced, why weren't any of these talked about at the most recent Stadia Connect? The last Connect was poorly received due to lack of announcements and honestly no mention of new features. And personally, I believe it was marketed wrong, as honestly, I think it was aimed more towards new customers as an advertising piece and not for existing customers as their Twitter hype would have led you to believe. But with all of these announcements following so closely, surely the addition of them into the Connect could have only helped it out. Even if they maybe couldn't give specifics like release dates, just acknowledging that these things were in the works may have saved them just at least a few customers who may have cancelled their subscription following the event. But what are your thoughts on how Stadia has been handling their announcements and honestly their marketing? Let me know in those comments down below. Which leads us on to our final Stadia story, which is good because I'm all Stadia'd out. We've talked about this one before. To help bring in more players, Stadia needs to land one of the big Battle Royale games.
But Mark, Stadia has PUBG.
I hear you say. Well, I hate to break it to you, PUBG and its bots just aren't cutting it. So in the world of massively popular Battle Royale titles, an obvious place to look, unfortunately, would be Fortnite. Well, this week in a tweet, Epic Games founder Tim Sweeney confirmed why that isn't the case, or at least not yet. In response to the obvious question, why isn't Fortnite on Google Stadia? Tim responded, "There's not a deep reason. We fully support Stadia in Unreal Engine. However, the effort required to release Fortnite updates weekly in sync across 7+ platforms is extreme, and that makes it hard to add platforms that don't yet have mass market user bases." So firstly, shots fired by Tim on the number of Stadia users.
Oh, dang.
But unpacking his answer a little bit, we can see compatibility isn't really the issue here, with Unreal Engine already supporting titles currently available on Stadia, like Crater. This one just seems to come down to more effort versus reward for spending additional time supporting continuous releases for an additional platform where the player base just isn't there yet. But to quote Tim, platforms that don't yet have mass market user bases, leaving the door open to the potential of Fortnite on Stadia in the future. Moving on to GeForce Now, of course, new week, new selection of games added to the service, which I'll throw up on screen here. Notably, a few of these have been added to GeForce Now either a day or two after their general release, which is a good sign to see the speed at which new games can be added to the service. Also, a notable week for new features available on GeForce Now. Only a small feature, but a nice quality of life improvement. This week, users will be able to use a feature called Steam Sync, which, as the name might suggest, allows users of GeForce Now to identify all of the games available in their Steam library and add them to the My Library section of GeForce Now, saving you from searching for them manually.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And with some of the news of the things you will be getting out of the way, let's get into something that you won't be getting, or at least not on time. Yes, if you're a Shadow customer who's interested in the higher tiers, we've had an announcement this week confirming the Ultra and Infinite pre-orders have now been delayed until at least the beginning of 2021. Just to clarify, pre-orders are people who were able to secure an Ultra or Infinite slot back in October 2019 when the tiers were originally announced. The original release date for this was February this year, which got pushed back to summer this year, which has now been pushed to the beginning of next year. This, of course, unfortunately, has a knock-on effect for everyone else who was not early enough to pre-order these tiers, as a priority now is to get these pre-orders delivered for early 2021 before offering these upgrade options to Ultra and Infinite to everyone else. So the reason behind this delay shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Shadow has stated these delays were caused by the coronavirus, with its knock-on effect on manufacturing lines, especially PC components which are made in China. This has delayed the delivery of vital hardware needed to upgrade the data centers. And not only that, access to the data centers themselves has been restricted due to social distancing measures. The small glimpse of reassurance that Shadow has given is that the delays in obtaining these new components will not result in the Ultra and Infinite tiers being different to what was advertised. More information on this delay is available in their FAQ, which I have linked in the description down below. But as with all of the news we've talked about today, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Honestly, this one is just a free pass to have a bit of a vent down there. So go for it, it's on me. With that, let's finish up. And as I always do, I'll try and point you towards free games wherever I can to help get you through 2020. First up, Disintegration is having a free weekend. Disintegration is a first-person shooter where players strategically control characters and call flying machines. So if you don't already own it, here's a chance to jump in and give it a try on any platform where it's available. Next, we have our Epic Game Vault selection. This week we have 3 titles: Barony, Superbrothers, Sword and Sworcery, and 20XX, 20XX, whatever that says. And being the start of a brand new month, happy August to you all. We of course have the ongoing console wars, free console games for the month of August. I want to hear from you, who wins this one? First up on PlayStation Plus, actually even before August even started, PlayStation Plus players were able to download Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And on the 4th of August, users also get access to Fall Guys. And honestly, do not sleep on Fall Guys, guys. I've been part of every stress test and beta test for this game because I love it so damn much. And it is truly the next stage in evolution of the Battle Royale genre. Just think Takeshi's Castle, Total Wipeout, the game online with weird but adorable pill-looking guys. That's my recommendation. GOTY 2020. On the flip side of getting things early, the PlayStation Now titles for August are weirdly not announced until the 4th of August. So we'll have to talk about those next week, and we'll have to see if there's any kind of weird rotation again. Honestly, the biggest mistake that platform made was removing Spider-Man. It's like main advertisement for PlayStation Now. Let's just rotate it out. We own it, but let's... Which brings us to the free games of August for Xbox Gold users. First up, we have Portal Knights, available on August 1st until August 31st, followed by Override Mech City Brawl, available on August 16th to September 15th. Then MX Unleashed, again available on the 1st of August until the 15th of August. And Red Faction 2, available from August 16th to August 31st. Those are weirdly staggered. So the same question we asked at the start of each month, who won the console wars for the free games of August? My personal opinion, for me, it's not about the number of free games, it's about the quality of those games. I'd rather take one decent AAA title over 10 crappy indie titles any day. But I'd love to hear from you in those comments down below. And finally, in another great week for Xbox Game Pass users, new titles added were Nowhere Profit, Yakuza 2? I've heard that pronounced so many different ways, I don't know. F1 2019, The Tourist, and of course, day one release, the preview of Grounded, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival game, which we played on stream the other day. Actually pretty good, recommend you check it out. But that's it from me. So of course, if you enjoyed the video, you found it somewhat helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next one. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. And as always, I shall see you in the next one.